No, the D&D game is over, so I'm going to be working on Mind Flayer.
What?
No. It's twitching.
Okay.
All right, I'll have to go watch that VOD and see what I missed. So Tuatha, how do you like the D&D? It's pretty fun, right? Gerbil, you're subscribed. Thank you very much. I've missed you this week. Haven't seen you much. I figured you were busy with school. I always enjoyed it. Me being live, like the live Zero, the live D&D game, or just being live and I wasn't here, so it made you feel better. So once again, it's much better if I'm not here. I see the pattern. All right, well, I have to change the information too because it still says live D&D. Now I have to make it back to Dungeons and Drawings. Drawing a Mind Flayer. So I can do that first. So if I change that to art first, and then that changed my tags, I see. That's why my tags have always disappeared. So by the way, if you change your category, it resets your tags. I was wondering why I kept erasing my tags. So I actually can't do this. Go back in and hit your own tabs. Oh, it doesn't reset all of them. Okay. Art. That's good enough. Update info. All right. Being live and not being here made you laugh. Excellent. Glad I could help indirectly. You're out of school, but you were on vacation. All right. Hope you had a good vacation in the forest. So sketchbook, yeah, you can change your Twitch name. They'll let you change it every 60 days, I think it is. So you can't just go willy-nilly. So fortunately I could change it here. And fortunately I could change it across all social media. And I think this will be a little bit easier to remember. I mean, Plant Chaos is pretty cool. I liked it. This will be a little bit easier once people get used to it. And it's a little bit more personable for me too. So, and I like the Shep logo with the H and the E merged. So there's all kinds of little reasons why I made the change, but it'll be better. So far, folks have been telling me it's good change, which I didn't think they would care one way or another, but I've gotten all good remarks. Oh, you're having fun talking D&D with Tuatha? Excellent. Perfection. And Tuatha's all set up. Yeah, I look at the colors and I think, man, why do my drawings always have super bright colors? But then I'm like, who cares? All my drawings have super bright colors. Looks pretty cool. Yeah, Old Man Chaos is going to have to go away. You enjoyed it while you could. Yeah, Sketchbook. It is going to be confusing for folks for a while because they're same thing, right? They're going to be like, "Who the hell is that?" And I don't have a way of contacting people ahead of time. I mentioned it in Discord, but if someone's not part of the Discord, they'll never know. So it could impact my viewership for a little bit until people rediscover me. But I'm not going to change it again. So this is it. Need some red. I don't like these green things down here. Oh, I'm sharing the window so you can't see instead of the space on the screen. So right here, now you can see that. I don't really like the green there. Maybe I'll put red in there. I don't like the green on the outside things. So there's some changes I'm going to make. The colors are not final at all. I just plop them in just as placement for now. You had an okay vacation. It was your niece's birthday. Oh, that's always fun, right? Fantastic. Looks like you're joining Discord. Welcome aboard. I'll be back, bouncing back and forth between you and Connor Hughes. Oh, that's all right. I'm gonna go find his chat and jump in on his stream. He doesn't know it yet, though. And then you could use like Khadgar and watch both streams. Yeah, my finals are always just like FPOs, and then I do all the shading, and then I'll look at one more time and say, okay, what do I want to change? Do I want it to be colorful? Do I want it to be natural colors? You know, that good stuff. Let me experiment here. So I think it's khadgar.org. Let me look it up for you so that I can get it correct. Actually, if I go to Connor, he'll do it. So give me a sec here. Let me get into here. Hey Connor, you there? Maybe he's not there. He could have his Discord muted.
Oh, what do you think, Charlie, about the new Batman? Nick brought that up. I didn't even realize. Or anyone. What's everyone think about the new Batman?
Hey Connor.
Open question. At first, I didn't know. I've never actually seen a movie with him in it. But when I saw some pictures, and they showed his face in a certain context. Yeah, that didn't work. I think he did pull it off.
Let me go to the
Nice
stream.
contrast to what was probably be like the super tough guy, Ben Affleck, for the Batman. I thought it was Patterson or something. Twilight guy. Hey, Roche Park. You did a duo stream. You and I on Khadgar. Hey, Roche Park. Oh, sorry, Rob Shepard. Yeah, did a duo stream. Oh, Shep. Yeah. Khadgar. Why don't you? I'm on Discord. Oh, sorry. Right. Hang out. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're muted there. Yeah, it's just Khadgar.
Now I'm not muted.
Let me check.
Yeah, I tried it. I couldn't remember. I could look it up, but I thought you just had it memorized.
I don't know who Nicholas Holt is. Okay. I can make edits to a text file.
Cool.
Here, Shep.
Thanks. Can you hear me on Discord?
Aside from that, could work. Nicholas Holt is the. I guess he's probably the guy from Tolkien, right? Yeah. I can see them both. No, Punisher in a bat suit. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Sort of for right now, he's a little more sophisticated, a little more kind of here to figure things out. I'm guessing that's what they're going to go for since he's more slim. So he's like less Avatar vengeance.
Hey Connor, can you hear me on Discord?
Who was it that said in thing where that man can do everything, but fight crime or stop crime, I guess. I can't hear you on Discord. I should be able to. You are muted before. Let me see if you're still muted. Nope. Yeah, let me just do a thing.
Test. Test. Yeah, so you can't hear me, can you?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, you're super quiet, but now I just raised your volume.
I also reset it too. Okay.
What are you working on tonight? That Mind Flare?
Yeah, the Mind Flare.
You're looking good, man.
So I'm going to try this dual stream thing.
You're getting into some rendering. How about the coloring?
Oh, that's right. CADGuard doesn't like to work for me. Dang it. But yeah, I'm doing some coloring. All this stuff is FPO color. I'm still working on it. But yeah. I'm going to do some tonal work first.
Wait. Hey, Tuatha. Hey, Zero Soul.
Thanks, Charlie. I didn't think anyone would care one way or the other, but I'm surprised everyone says it's a better name. So, works for me. Plus, I get it all on all my social media accounts now are Rob Shepard, and then I did buy the domain, so I'll do a new website. So yeah, the only change I plan on doing.
I had to change mine from CNRHUS, and now it means that people that are used to the nomenclature of emotes aren't used to the fact that my emotes are in CNRHUS. So now you're gonna be stuck with that too.
Oh, good point. But okay.
I mean, I do think it's still wise to change your name. Like, it was still wise for me to change my name from CNRHUS.
Mm-hmm.
People would see me in chat and they'd be like, or they would just say it. They would spell out the words, the letters rather, so it wouldn't work.
Yeah, but yours still is logical.
Sort of.
Mine will be weird.
Only logical in hindsight. Like, if you understand the context of my name is Connor Hughes,
Mm-hmm.
you read it, you're like, oh, okay, and then CNRHUS. Hey, Sketchbook LP, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Yeah, Sketchbook. If you love comic book art, you'll love Connor's channel. And he's a good guy, so. Yeah.
Likewise, let me give you a shout out now to your new channel name. And I won't make the same mistake of it being
That's right.
Planet Chaos.
Because there's only one Rob Shepard now.
Yeah. Although I could go to Rob Shep.
Don't tell me there's a Rob Shep.
I don't know.
That would suck. I
Yeah,
can't.
Charlie, I agree. I think it is a matter of, your branding.
Yeah, because
I got an email from, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to agree with Charlie too, because my name's Rob Shepard. So Rob Shepard, works in a whole lot of different levels.
Yeah. Was Rob Shepard taken?
Yeah, I didn't want. What I wanted was Shepard, and that was taken. But so I did Rob Shepard instead. So what were you saying, Connor? I interrupted you. Sorry.
No. I was just saying that I got an email actually from, Pop Read is the company that seems to manage like a lot of the cons around, I'm guessing, the East Coast. So in this case, like New York, and then also C2E2, Chicago one. And like out of the blue, I got an email from the person that runs that saying, "Oh, you should like apply for a table." So I actually replied asking, like, "Oh, well, when out my New York Comic Con application, hopefully I get a reply to that." Read Pop, yes, Read Pop. Did I say Pop Read? Probably. Not surprised, Charlie. Not surprised. They told me to apply to a table to C2E2, but because the C2E2 applications are just opening up. But the New York one I had already applied to, yes. Yes, and those applications are still being processed. So we were told initially when we first applied that you would get official, like, final verification. Oh, let me turn off my fan thing because I had it real strong before. How is it now? Is it too much fan coming through? Unfortunately, in your case, you're gonna have to listen to the fan because that's gonna have different settings for the thing on Discord. No fan. All right. Yeah. So I didn't apply to C2E2 yet because like they only just went live. I did apply to New York Comic Con, and the final date that they'll tell us if we get a table is the 28th of May. So I guess in a very short time frame. I think about days. Well, you mentioned the 13-hour drive. I was thinking about it, and whether what made sense. I'm not sure what makes sense yet. I could sleep in my car if it's legal. I know some places that's not legal.
Sleep at a truck stop.
In the car,
Yeah,
that's legal.
I think. I can't swear to that, but I think it is. I think that's the whole point of the truck stop. So it gives them a place
So you're
to.
saying if I went up, when the cop stops me in truck stop, I'll be like, well, Rob Shepard, he told me
Yeah,
that
exactly.
that it was legal, and I listened to him. I
Yeah.
mean, you guys gotta talk to him. He knows.
That's right. And he'd be like, "Oh, Rob Shepard? I know that dude. I watch him on
I know
Twitch."
that guy. Yeah. Be a man. You can do that one day. I mean, yeah, you're probably right. I guess. I have actually done it before.
Tuatha, that sounds good. You should start streaming again.
You probably drive for 13 hours sometimes around town, huh?
Yeah.
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 13-hour shifts.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. Although to be absolutely honest, I haven't done it lately. I do like a 7 and a 4 once in a while. So more like 11 hours. So that's pretty much it. I haven't done anything longer in a while.
What's funny is we were hoping that with the summer coming in and my wife, she probably won't be teaching next year. We were hoping to like downsize on the miles on our car.
Yeah.
Try and like catch up because she drives it a lot. She has a very long commute. But if I start commuting to Chicago, that's gonna go down.
How long did you drive to Chicago?
13 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll add a little bit of commute.
Yeah.
That's like drive there once a week then. Work and come back home.
Well, yeah, in the case of C2E2, I guess I would just go for time of year. It isn't that bad. Yeah, I mean, probably do it.
A 13-hour drive is pretty far. The longest I've driven is from San Francisco, which is supposed to be about 11-hour drive, and I do it in about, maybe it's not quite 11, but I do it in about 8 or 9 hours, and that's just a long drive. I don't know how these truck drivers can drive 10 hours every day, every single day, you know?
Yeah, I mean that's an endurance skill that they accumulate. Oh, that'd be awesome. And you can sleep in my car too, Charlie? Is that the plan?
Are you guys both going to cozy up in the back seat?
Yep, dwarven bath style, right?
What was that all about? I was like, are we really going to role play a bath? That was pretty funny though.
Well, we did roleplay baths before. I think Nick and I got baths in town where we picked up the first boat.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess that happened. Shotgun would put you in the front passenger seat.
Yeah.
So I actually call it backseat. Thanks. Although actually that's not that great a deal. I don't know. It's really a Honda Civic. So it's not exactly like a roomy car. So besides coverage, yeah, protecting all the delicate bits.
It's a funny thing to imagine, guys.
Backseat would be filled with comics. Trunk would be filled with comics.
0, one day maybe I'll actually do Twitch sings, perhaps, but not until I actually know a song to sing and
Yeah.
I record myself doing it so I can get used to myself. I have never sung in public since 4th grade. That was the last time.
We'll get you. We'll get you there.
I would be petrified.
A bar with lie, yeah. That'd be bad. I mean, look, Kaz has survived eating a whole few days of grain. Raw grain. You can have lie. Those private bits.
I don't know why everyone was so surprised at that. I think it was perfectly natural for Kaz to shrug it off.
Yeah, I mean, he's dwarf. Hardy as hell.
Yeah. And I'm glad you did the drinking contest.
If I had known that it would be a problem, I might have through the preparation phase. I mean, what do you have to do to a week to prepare it? I don't really know. Survive the Badgers? Yeah, we did survive the Badgers. I mean, I'm pretty sure that those Badgers were out for blood. If it weren't for Kaz, things would have been dire.
Not to take away from Kaz, but we were lucky that that AP did a morale check.
Yes,
because and we were going to be done.
I mean, if a few bad rolls from the Badgers, then Kaz would have been done.
Yeah. Yep.
Guys don't know that.
Because that was before you had your armor, I think.
Yeah, chainmail, which I still have. I think I'll try and sell it. Because my character's Kaz is like nearly at carrying capacity. You know, he is not at full comparison. He can carry 275 pounds on his person at all times.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's ridiculous. He's like deadlifting.
Well, you know, that's all distributed weight. That's including armor and backpacks and stuff like that. So, yeah, they carry a lot. You know, soldiers carry what, 80 pounds in their backpacks?
Yeah, 80 pounds.
Human soldiers. Now, you should be encumbered. You know, I mean, if a dwarf is carrying that much weight, he should be encumbered. But I don't think AP plays encumbrance very much. It's just like...
I mean, he probably would if like, he thought there was some kind of way to get us with it.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed to be the game plan.
Yeah, yeah, I feel the same way. He's out to get us. it's funny because he talked about us being gun shy, and I'm like, I was thinking about it. It's like I'm gun shy because every plan we make is disrupted. So then I'm trying to I'm trying to guess, what might be okay. But then I realized just today, I'm like, no, that's AP's goal. He's going to disrupt every plan and see how we adapt.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Kami Vec. Hey, Sarah Sky. Hey, Hubris. Hey, Jay. Thanks very much for the raid. Hey, Furay. Judo those judos. That's right. Yeah, I'm working out the crushing action. Thank you very much, Jaxer. Hey, Eilerin. Fun emote. I like that emote. Is that the character? Is that the character from How to Teach a Dragon? Love that. Thanks, Kami Vec. I mean, I'm just still working on it here. I'm not quite sure if it looks like the character is sort of because they're compressing the facial features. Thanks, Jay. How was your stream? What were you working on tonight? Something gorgeous as usual. There's so many bugs in it. Yeah, I'll show you guys my work. Thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out. My name is Connor Hughes. I'm joined here by Rob Shep Art. Shout out there.
Hello, everyone.
Actually, I'll put up the Khadgar. That's what I'll do. You guys annoying? Watch us both there. Top Bell. Thank you very much, Ray. Feel the crunch. Showing off their old artwork in retrospect. Okay, cool. Was it nice to see the progression, or were you just always fantastic? Very, very many lines. Great. Yeah, I got sort of a 90s mix. Nukem Prodigy, yeah. Doing a little bit of corrections on this page. No. This page, and sort of, I got to do the background there, but otherwise, it's I think should be roughly. You get to always go through his work. I mean, do you share computers and just share that, or you mean also physical work, traditional? Hey, Amelia Lorenz, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Mic is on.
Here's the jam to fail land CD forever. Hell yeah. We're side by side, yeah. That's the way to do it. My wife has a computer over there, but she's never on it. She hasn't really had an opportunity to draw very often the last few years. But that should change at some point.
Good night, baby. I'll turn the lights off.
I don't think I can get my wife to stream though. But maybe she would join.
I'm gonna shut the door too. I think I have a drink, so I'm all set.
Yeah, I can see the great lady. Yeah, we met in art school. She actually was down the hall from. Yeah, it's history.
I want to make it so I see technically is. So today was freaky. Yeah, that's what I gotta do. I just forgot to do it.
Biased.
I thought I'd wake up at 10
Hooray.
actually.
Hey, Ben Fourier.
No, I need to run the duty on. I thought I'd wake up at 10 actually, to be honest. And then I looked up, I'm like, oh, maybe it's 12. I'm like,
Yeah, it's sort of like, then it's a question of like, do I want to displace his hair by going back, but then also the impact of the hitting the car is going to send all the hair forward. I guess the hair should be going forward. It doesn't matter.
I'm back.
Met in the chat room forever ago. Cool. Yeah, with internet, great way to meet people. Awesome, Shep. Back.
Hi, Cammy. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Guess it is. Yeah, probably for Ray. Tell you what, I'm not particularly jealous of people in the dating game. Perfect. I think I need to meet a girl in massage school and drop out. I think they might have your number there. You know what you're up to. Meeting strangers on the internet the fastest way. I've met a lot of people like for jobs and stuff. Wrong. Never done it. Never like dated.
My wife is technically an online date.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Now you met her?
I'll tell my story super quick.
Okay.
When I was single, I was trying to date online, and it wasn't going so successful. But in that search to date online, I had talked with a woman in Jamaica? No, somewhere down there. I can't remember. In Brazil. So 2 different women, fantastic conversationalists. It was so much fun to just talk to them. So one day when I was totally burned out, I'm like, I'm going to see if I can find talk to someone online as far away as I possibly could. And so found my wife. She said she was from Malta, but she was actually from Cyprus, and talked to her for a few months, and 2 years later we got married.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you never know.
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean, the internet's been great for people meeting each other in general. You hear a lot of success stories.
Yeah, I think from my experience, it was a love-hate relationship. So it's a lot easier to meet with people, and I think it's actually a good thing because it kind of makes you slow down. But then sometimes you go too fast. I mean, you got to have a lot more self-control, I think. Dating on the internet. Take things slower, I think. Just my experience.
Yeah. Sure. I don't. Like I said, I don't know. But I mean, you're the one that's made a success out of it. So take your advice. Yeah, I remember when people used to think of it in a certain way, Jay Axer, and like, what? Closest thing I think my friends ever got to that was sort of when they pretend to be girls in certain places, and then get things from their mark, I suppose.
Yeah, as far as I know, anyone who said there was a woman was a woman, as far as I know. And if I know any different, I want to be ignorant. Don't need to find out.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, honestly, I'm not talking about people that were doing that for dating areas. This was like for like online, like an online game thing. So
yeah, they just want to lie about it. And a different way of trolling, right?
I don't know. I mean, depends. It depends. Like you can take that to a certain extent where it's probably really bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never really paid attention to like what precisely my friend was doing with that whole thing. So.
T Spork, thank you for that follow. Thank you very much. Welcome aboard.
Yes, Sierra, that's Shepard. Yeah, I have them on the Khadgar. Give you guys. I don't think I have the timer going yet. Yeah, there. Submit. Khadgar link up. You know, I got to turn on the Discord thing where you can hear people and then you can see them via picture top. So, Jaxer, what kind of like what will be some stylistic changes that you see in your work over the years? Were they big style shifts, or were they kind of more like, oh, well, I mean, before you were saying that you were doing a study and you were learning how to do a certain kind of metal texture?
Thank you, Cammy.
That kind of thing, where you sort of are slowly expanding your tool set, or were they also style change? All right, Jackson, have a great night. Yeah, I won't. I mean, if you gotta go, don't let me keep you. All right, Ark. Thank you very much for hanging out. Have a good night.
Thank you for that follow, Cammy. Appreciate it. Welcome aboard. Zero, I'm glad you like the light and shading that I'm doing, and I appreciate you saying it's perfect, but oh man, it's oh so unperfect. But like everything, just kind of practice. I just try to figure out where my light source is going to be, and then I'm doing some pretty severe shading, so it's kind of easy. I can just do 100% shadows on where there would be shadows. And then I'll do some blending later on. It'll soften it up and make it a lot more easy on the eyes. And I would say I've just practiced on a few images to do it this way, and I get a little bit better each time.
Thank you, Jaxer, and thank you very much for the raid. Have a great night. For sharing your work, and thanks for streaming. Take care.
Good night, Jay Laxer. Or is it Jay Axer or Jay Laxer?
I think it's Jay Axer.
Okay, Jay Axer, good night.
And Kami, if you're heading off too, have a great night.
Cammy, if you're still here, good night. If you're not, sorry I missed it. Sorry I missed it.
All right, Xian, take care. Have a great night. So, Fu, what have you been up to lately? Besides apparently scoping the dating scene of the massage centers. You ever tried that, Shep?
Tried the what?
Taking a course at massage place. seeing if that might lend you
I was
some interest.
going to get a massage. I don't know if this answers your question. I didn't quite hear the whole thing. I just heard massage. I was going to get a personal massage when I was single, but it didn't pan through. So no, I've never gotten any kind of massage work anywhere.
Yeah.
Was that your question, or was it something else?
Oh, I was asking because they were saying Fure was saying before that. Oh, I should try and meet a girl at a massage place by enrolling in a class and then dropping out as soon as I meet.
Oh.
As a potential strategy to meet somebody.
Is a massage parlor known as a good place to meet people?
A massage like school, like a college.
Oh, hey, that'd be awesome, actually.
Yeah. Just did your first Kickstarter. Oh, why don't you put up a link? Hey, JL. Thank you very much for the raid. Hey, Davis Nova. Hey, JL. How did the Kickstarter go?
I'm going to mute for a couple minutes. I'll be right back.
Alright.
Alright, so for my channel...
JL. Hey, what's up, JL? How you been?
Tispork.
Davis Nova.
Hey, let me mute him.
Let me show you. I'm working on a comic. Show you some pages. Hey, Lindsay Lack. Let me get jails.
Wait, I have to get out of here. All right. So to answer your question, that's kind of the challenging thing when we're doing Khadgars. It's okay if we're all having the same conversation, but once we start having two different conversations, it's pretty tough. So, Zero...
It died during the countdown?
What?
It's awful.
Let me get out of here. Now I think I'm back to normal. So Zero, one of the things I wanted to say about your question about getting the shading is that the more you learn anatomy, the easier it'll be to kind of guess where your shading should go. So I'm not very strong at that, but yet that's one of the things that when you're learning anatomy, you can practice on getting the shading correct, getting core shadows. In this case, with it being such a strong light source, the magic right in the middle, the shading is relatively easy to do. Yeah, Tispork, I have color on Flats layer right now, and it'll look something like that. But these colors, like I don't like this green right here for the magic. That's going to change for sure. But this gives an indication of where the drawing will be heading once I add colors. So yeah, definitely a work in progress right now. And sometimes I will do the shading on the colors so I see everything all at once. But tonight I don't want to do that because I want to just see just the raw shading by itself, so I don't get influenced by the other steps that I add to the art. So Tuatha, I'm still catching up. I should get a massage? Yeah. I've never really had a good massage. I give my wife a massage. We kind of do it once a month now, but it used to be once every 2 weeks. But she does my manicure and pedicure, so that's what we do to take care of each other. Go to a spa clinic, not a parlor. Therapists usually don't work in those. Gotcha. I understand that, yeah. Your massage therapists. Yeah, Tizpork. I'll show you my layers. Let me show you a past image, and I'll show you the way I work, for better or for worse. It's what I've been doing since the beginning, and I keep liking it. I don't change it, so I must enjoy it. But I'll do. I want to go back to the what I call her, Strider. All right, so this is by the way, follow my Instagram if you want to get updates on when each image is done, because I post to Instagram almost the same day that I get everything done. That's definitely the most up-to-date social media platform I use. Haha, good job, Zero. All right, so I draw with a lot of layers because since it's digital, might as well take advantage of all that stuff. Okay, all right, little signature. I start with the gestures, and right now this is toned down. So I'll start with something like that until I get to the point where I feel like this conveys enough information and I can start drawing. Then on top of that, I'll do some rough line art, but it can be semi-rough, sometimes even tight, to be honest. On top of that, I'll do a render. So I try to get a full render. This was pretty light on the lines, to be honest, but that's the way it goes. On top of that, I'll start inking borders, which will actually be my color holds later on in the process. On top of that, there's an ink hold, and then there's my inking layer. And then underneath that, I'll start adding forms, which is a gray layer, and then I lighten and darken spots that are facing the camera. So the closer it is to the camera, the lighter it typically is. And this is kind of unique to me, and I'm not saying it's good or bad, but it's just something that I developed, and I wanted to give it a shot for at least a year and see what happens. So you'll see other artists that might do something similar, but they'll use true lighting as their gray form. There's gray layer, but this is not meant to be true lighting. It's meant to just give some dimensionality to the forms. And I could skip this step 100% and just go straight to lighting, but for some reason I'm stubborn, and this is what I'm doing. And it's kind of nice. Sometimes it fights with the lighting, sometimes it goes along with it. But this is kind of a unique step. So on top of that, I'll do flat colors. And you can see how the gray forms layer interacts with the flat colors. So the nice thing is I can change the colors at any time, and it keeps all that forms information beneath it. And then I'll add, in this case I did some background bumps. I do my shadow layer, and since the light is coming from the bottom pool, a lot of my shadows are on the top part of the object. And then a key light, and in this case I wanted the key light to be a little stronger, so I bumped it up twice. And then sometimes I'll do a rim light or bounce light or specular. So there's actually some specular highlights. And I think that's it for this one. So I don't know how many layers it was, 7 layers, 8 layers, 9 layers, but then I finally get to the finished artwork. So along the way, this mind flare will look something like the Drider in terms of finished style. All right, that's the nickel tour. If you're still awake, I'm glad. If I put you to sleep, I hope you rest peacefully. Yeah, it's a lot of steps. I kind of question myself why I do it, and I know I enjoy it, and I don't mind taking the time. And one of the reasons is each step forces me to practice each process. But eventually, to save time, I'll probably combine all these processes into one big step and paint, like a lot of the painting artists do. But not today. But then again, if I just make it strong enough, it may be a illustration style that lives on its own. I feel like the only thing that's holding it back is my own skill level or lack of skill level. Because I feel like it has a lot of potential. I mean, so we'll see. I'll stick with it for a while, for a long while. I'm not in any hurry to dropping it. And it does add, I mean, it's not my main goal to be so different from everyone else, but it does add a different look to the illustrations. And I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I look at my art and I'm like, my art is identifiable just because of the way I do it, by the style. I'm like, you know what, that's actually a good thing. I should keep sticking with it. See you when you're back. Yeah, devil's in the details. And I want to stress again that a big reason why I started doing that, my long story or my short story, my art story, is at the beginning of this year, I finally got serious about doing the art. But I knew I needed to practice more. I'm not skilled enough to be pro. And so then I said, screw it, I'm going to practice while I'm drawing. And then I came up with this method of drawing so that, again, I practice every stage cleanly all by itself. So it's a little bit focused practice. And then someday I'll think I'm good enough where I can just put it all together real quick. I think I've watched 4 and it starts getting a little jittery. Are you watching all 3 on Khadgar? Or you got 3 different windows open, or what are you doing? I should head on back to Discord. Any other questions, folks, before I go back? All right, I'll get back on with Connor. I guess if you Khadgar right now and we're both talking, then we're both talking at the same time, aren't we? All right, I'm back.
Hey, how you doing? So some interesting things like occurred in Blingdon, huh? Like you got your family estate, but it's all occupied by Doral, who you hate, just to set up everyone else.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of it's a surprise, because I didn't know AP was going that direction. I actually told him my parents were well respected but not wealthy. And maybe this estate is not a rich man's estate, but just the fact that there's any estate is surprising. But yeah, we'll go with it. We'll see what happens.
Sure.
And yeah, see, the way I want to role play meeting the Drow is to kind of like freak out. So as a player and as a character, I'm like really having a hard time holding back right now. but we'll see how it goes. And I'm gonna roleplay not trusting this drow because I wouldn't anyway. I mean, they're chaotic evil. I don't know that they can switch. Maybe AP places drow completely different.
Yeah, that's what always what's so hard about this kind of thing. It's like, well, I have certain expectations about how these things work, and then and then also sometimes you don't anticipate the resolution of the world. That it's like, oh well, I mean, you could probably just grain.
Yeah, so I think that's the hardest part is getting used to, and it may take me a lot longer than it has, but getting used to AP's gaming style or DMing style, because he really, what's the word? He really throws me a lot of red herrings, and it's hard to tell when he's serious or not, and when he's trying to help or hurt or anything. So.
Well, I think he's always trying to, what I like about it is that he's always trying to sort of, there's no safety net.
Yeah.
There's no railroad. So, like, Kaz wandering off into this town, I mean, trying to find a library, it's like, well, that's a reasonable expectation in a certain context. Apparently, this is like, some kind of draconian society where you can't go around asking for where things are in the...
Yeah, that was kind of a surprising predicament to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how are we supposed to role play that? We've already been in jail once. It's gonna happen in every town.
We'll see. We'll see how we play this. It doesn't seem like if you murdered everybody in the orphanage, that anyone would take too much of an umbrage. What do you think?
I don't know.
You're like a special person. Parts.
I guess.
All right, Charlie. Have a great night. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you tomorrow.
Good night, Charlie. Yeah, so it kind of goes back to I don't know what direction to go with it. I mean, I could see. I'm trying to, in my mind, this is the way I'm trying to do things. I'm trying to write a story with AP, right? He's got a narrative, and I've got the character goals. And I'm trying to figure out what character goals he might be planning. Because I could see it as a character arc where, maybe I don't hate drow quite so much because maybe I discover that drow are not all that bad. But I don't know if that's what AP's planning or not. So I got to be careful. I can't assume that. So until I know more, as a character, I kind of still want to play the grudge. But I don't want to go all berserk and get us all killed either because, that's no fun. So yeah, it's kind of tough.
Kaz has you covered in that regard. I mean, he's got the grudge for the shadow spinners.
Well, yeah, when shadow spinners come around, I don't think anything's gonna hold us back. So I don't know.
We'll see. I thought he was about to introduce an orphanage of shadow spinners. That Kaz is obliged by the hammer to literally kill all of them. And I wouldn't put it necessarily past him to create that dilemma. It's like, well, you could play the game, and you can try and fulfill your character's arc, but you're gonna have to become a murdering psychopath to do it.
I mean, I wouldn't put him past it at all that that all these drow could be planted there by the shadow spinners. Why not? But he's setting it up as the shadow spinners is an evil clan among an evil race. And again, I don't really know that. I don't know for sure that the drow is a chaotic evil race in his world. I'm just assuming that. But they did sack Blingdenstone, so I mean they kind of have to be some sort of evil.
Well, so far, certainly the shadow spinners are evil, right?
Yeah, guaranteed. Yep.
So it's just a question of whether or not everyone else is already at. But I will say, so talking about side curve, the backstory I wrote for Cazador wasn't that he ran or anything like that. He was like a coward. It was actually that everyone else died. Basically, he's a sole survivor. Like basically, I wrote a sole survivor origin story. Ran from
yeah. What's that called when you have survivalist problems, right? When you're the only one who survives.
I think it's a soul survivor complex. I think that's literally
maybe
what it's called. So then when he suddenly turns around and then like all the dwarves are like, oh yeah, he's a coward. I was sort of surprised. I'll just roll with it. I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting way to go. But it's like not what I wrote.
Yeah, and it makes things really hard. It's hard to role play when everyone's going to hate your guts. Like, well, okay, then why should I be at this city? Let's go somewhere else.
Well, I mean, basically, if Kaz is already hated by everyone else, that's all there is to it. It's going to be. I think the point is his arc is about redemption.
Yeah.
So it's the same character arc, which is why I don't mind that it's done this way. Like in the end, I was sort of character arc is the same.
Yeah.
It's just a lot harder.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. It can be tough to redeem ourselves. I'm okay with that. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's fun not being the DM. I gotta tell you that. So it's fun because I used to always be the DM, and I always enjoyed it. I always enjoyed it because I wrote the stories, I wrote the narrative, and the players, of course, contributed. But we didn't have, back then, no one used railroad as such a bad term as now. That's just kind of the way things were done back then, is that you wrote a module and you kind of guided the characters in a way that still felt natural, but that they could complete the module. The whole point was, let's complete the module. And now it's more a sandbox, so I totally have to get used to that. But it's funny to me, like in a good way, like interesting way, that Kaz has his backstory, and like we're like, holy crap, Kaz is like famous in the realm, or Clan White Knuckles are famous in the entire realm. I'm like, you might be royalty, we just don't know that yet. So that's all interesting. AP's take on it is like unpredictable, and I like that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And you never know what he sort of brings to the table there.
Yeah.
And so he creates interesting dilemmas.
There's my dog. So Zero asked me, what's a bad term? Railroad. So let me explain what that is. So there's sort of two main styles of playing Dungeons and Dragons, and one of the style I think has become a lot more popular in the last few years. And the term railroad never existed until folks started doing a sandbox. Okay, so basically, I'm thinking of a YouTube video I saw recently where this guy gave an example, and I wish I could quote his name, but I can't remember it. But a sandbox basically is, you kind of have this world created, but you let the players determine how they fit in this world. And so the players can kind of create these opportunities for adventure, and then the dungeon master will respond to that, and off they go. Now the railroad is an older style of playing, where that's basically, you have the author that writes the adventure, and as all written adventures have to be, they have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and there's certain things that have to be done in this adventure to make it progress. So that's it's a linear process. So the linear process for a lot of folks nowadays is not as enjoyable, because they like it to be a little bit more free form, a lot more contributions at the player level. So sandbox is super popular now. But I'm honestly, more used to that railroad option because that's just how I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons, where the dungeon master knew all the events that needed to happen for the quest to be successful. So that's all I got to say about that.
So, I mean, to understand what you're talking about there, what if, like, the basic idea is, for me, I'm approaching this from my experience with, like, say, video games. So, video games, like, you'll have, like, from that era, especially, or from the early area, like 90s, you have to talk to, like, that one NPC, and that one NPC would have this one line that would hint you to talk to this other NPC or go to this other location, and then you could proceed with the story. Like, you have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Is that what more or less you're talking about?
Yeah, that's a railroad style of play.
And, like, there's no other way to progress in the story other than...
Yeah. Yeah, it still might be fun, but there's only a one linear progression path that you can take to keep going.
Yeah.
Whereas the sandbox, like EVE Online is all sandbox. A lot of the multiplayer games are sandbox games where the programmers have programmed in the ability to do a bunch of things, and then it's entirely or at least 80% up to the players to decide what they're going to do with it. So
yeah, I mean, I think at that point you're talking about another kind of gameplay, which is more emergent game, right? Like, so there's two different kinds of sandbox-ish type gameplay, and like sandbox is more like maybe GTA, and then an emergent gameplay is something where you have systems in play, and then the player absolutely decides like what they do with those systems. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So emergent or sandbox may or may not mean the same thing. I don't know. I'm not that big of an expert on it, to be honest. But like EVE, for example, because that's the one game I've played the most, players can decide to control the economy. They can decide to create wars. They can decide to go on quests. And they can decide to have peace and do contracts and that kind of stuff. So it's a very, from my perspective, my definition, a very sandbox method of playing, where there's enough programmability set in play where the players can do almost anything. I mean, it's almost too flexible. But that's super popular playing right now, and I think that type of play has gotten into D&D a lot.
Yeah, I think EVE Online would be an example of emergent gameplay. I don't know it that much. I don't know it that well.
Mm-hmm.
But from what you're describing, to me, that sounds like emergent than sandbox. The two are very related, so I guess there's definitely not really much of a point in sort of belaboring the point of the thing, because I think you need a little bit of emergent elements to make a sandbox game. But like say a sandbox or an emergent gameplay is specifically where you're using two systems, and the player has to use those two systems to create their own challenges, or goals.
Yeah, it sounds to me that emergent and sandbox are on the same side of the coin, at least, right? One might be more complex than the other, perhaps. But yeah. So is this a fan of yours? Just coincidence, and not to offend Connor SES, Connor's. How would I say that? Connor's. So there's a chap in my chat.
Yeah, Connor's.
Connor's.
Yes, I don't know. Connor's is from Jaxer's channel.
So just coincidence, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, saying that sandbox is fun. Actually, you've got Khadgar open, don't you? Yeah. The GM usually has to wing it a lot more often, improvise a lot more often. Yep. And they have to prepare a next game session based on what the players decided on the previous game session. So yeah, it's a lot more work, I think, running a sandbox campaign.
you definitely have to be able to think on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying Connor says in your mind, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll make sure I never do one of those in my campaign. Sounds like a lot more stress. I mean, yeah, it's probably, you have to be able to roll the flow.
Yeah, Zero, I think I'm used to a certain play. I'm not against the sandbox at all. I just have to get used to it. And I think both are equally fun. I think if you have a good GM, you're going to have fun no matter what anyway. But yeah, I just think that players nowadays like the freedom of defining their own characters. Oh, and back in the old days again, a little bit, when D&D first started, it used to be you roll the stats, and it was almost kind of a uncontrollable roll, and then you would make a character based on the stats. So a lot of times these early players couldn't even control what type of character they wanted because the stats would actually allow or disallow certain classes and characters. And I think people got tired of that. So now, when we make characters, and AP is great in this regard because he's super flexible in our characters, we can literally custom make our characters now. And so the campaigns kind of follow that same methodology. The campaigns can be super customizable now based on our backstories.
Right. Yeah, it's much more about, I guess, because I think the classical style emphasizes the larger narrative points, maybe, like making sure that everyone sort of plays the roles that they're meant to be played as, say, heroic characters.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I'd say the sandbox approach, you're going to get more interesting moments, more like fun moments, I suppose, would be sort of what you get as a result of the box. Like, Kazdor, getting drunk at Waffle House is not a thing that a linear storytelling method would foster, right?
Yeah, you're right, because a lot of times you might start off in a tavern and it might happen, but it did seem to be much more natural. And when this sandbox method that AP is using, I totally understand. He gets to role play some of these characters too, and it's enjoyable for him too. And so, right. Yeah, when that situation came up, I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's totally cool. It felt like a very natural situation, and let's roll with it and see what happens.
Yeah, I think in general, you got this tough guy rolling into town. It makes sense that someone's going to be like, yo, what's up? I need to test you.
Yeah, you ain't so tough.
What's up?
I was just joking around, but agreeing with you. It's like, yeah, you ain't so tough.
Yeah. Exactly. Like you're gonna have that person that's gonna want to size you up, especially if you're a tough person and you see a person like Kaz who's like rolling deep with in armor. Like that's a big red flag to say come up and test yourself against.
Yep. And then everyone is surprised why we don't trust anyone when we come into a new town. It's like, yeah, okay, who's going to test us this time?
Yeah.
I've just come to terms that I am just a murder hobo at heart. So.
That's a big segue from Paladin.
I know, right? But for Paladin, it was easy because everything was evil. And now in this whole sandbox thing, it's hard to tell what's evil and what's not. So I think it would be tough. It would be tough to play a lawful good, Paladin for me. So.
But you don't have to be the same. There are other Paladins now in this thing where you're not lawful. You can be the classic sort of D&D. There's classes for that.
Yeah.
You can also you can be an evil paladin. You can be a paladin you can have personal goals as a paladin as opposed to having goals where you gotta like do the absolute moral good.
Yep.
I mean, to some degree, it makes sense because you gotta have characters that are compatible with each other. Like, it's great to be the paladin, and maybe you could roll a whole group of paladin. But if you have paladin and then you have a rogue and you have a warlock, you're really gonna have some serious player conflict. When players just sort of want to get along oftentimes and have a good time.
Yep. Yeah, I'm a more cooperative play style player.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I kind of see it as like, oh, well, we're a team. We're trying to like work together, get it all done.
Yeah, so I'm just reading chat. So Zero, you don't find railroading or sandboxing appealing. Well, you don't have to one or the other. I'm just saying that over the course or over the history of D&D, there's been these two major play styles. But you can play however you want and whatever's going to work with you and your crew. Just because there's these two existing terms out there doesn't mean you have to adhere to any of them.
We have sort of a goal, but AP is pretty open to sort of like alternate smaller goals, and then there's also our personal character goals that that he's allowing to flesh out. Right now, with the Shrine of Leos thing, sort of like Rain with the Grudge Maker thing of Cazador. And then he's like amplified it to other goals.
Were you a grudge bearer? Like, was that always going to be your plan to be a grudge bearer?
I mean, not necessarily. No, I was sort of dabbling between, mainly probably the most gameplay effective one, which might have been a heavy armor or special tier. That you get to reduce all incoming attacks by like 2 or 3 points.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. But then I decided I wanted to signal his backstory. I wanted to solidify that. I also wanted to have some skin in the game about what our meta narrative is for the story, right? So
yeah.
We're out there hunting demon artifacts. So what is Kaz doing? Why is he with the group?
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a reason for that. Like, yeah, well, I want to do that.
I feel like that's a good conversation for the group, because we never had a pre-meeting and said this is why we're there. So in character, one of these days, I think it would be good to say, why are you guys here? What is your goal? Are you here to destroy the artifacts or what?
Well, I think AP tried to get us to have that conversation both, but I mean, I personally wasn't as prepared as I could have been.
Yeah.
For like, whoa, what's my goal? Why have I tagged along? But now I have it set out why how Kaz came to like meet the wizard in so many ways, as well as why he's interested in doing these things.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the whole motivation thing took me a long time. Like I still don't feel like I've got a firm grasp on Rick Jack's motivations. I know what alignment he is. Not that games nowadays really stress very much about alignments, but but at least it fits in my head on why he would be this alignment. So he's not a traditional gnome alignment. He's not a traditional. I don't think he's traditional rogue alignment, but he's a blend of the two. And I'm like, yeah, that actually works for me anyway. So I'm still trying to figure out. And probably my problem is I'm kind of bummed that I don't have this already figured out, because I didn't know the importance of doing the backstory. When we were creating the characters and everyone's all like, oh yeah, I'm going to write my backstory. I'm like, wow, what for? I never realized it would be incorporated into the campaign this way.
Thanks, Casey. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't have it all written out at the beginning of either, so I mean, even if I knew roughly how important it was, I mean, it's not like I had it all figured out. I knew some of the elements, but then yeah, I heard it. But also, I didn't know what kind of campaign we were doing, so I allowed the campaign to also influence what I wanted the backstory to be, so that then I think it would give AP material to use.
Yep.
The two can feed each other. It can be like synergy between backstory and story.
Oh yeah, and I think that's the refreshing part about having AP DM, and for me to learn, right? So it's like, okay, now I know the importance of the backstory. Next time I'll take it a little bit more serious and put a little bit more time into it, because a lot of my backstory is on the fly.
Yeah. Have you thought anything more about sci-fi characters?
No, to be honest, I haven't talked about it at all, because I had this one character that I thought was okay, but although I felt like it was too much like a D&D character. So no, I'm not decided on sci-fi at all. Mick is here next week, right? So I've got a little bit of time to get that resolved.
Yeah, you got that.
Yeah, Connor says, you're right. A good GM, or this is not quite what you're saying, but this is my opinion, is that good campaigns are part sandbox, part railroad. I think they kind of have to be part and part. That's just my opinion. So those are the games that I like the most, where there's clear objectives, but we can deviate and it doesn't wreck the game and it doesn't upset the game master. You know, as long as we get back on track, like next session or something like that. And you're right, it does give the GM ammunition. Both you guys, Connor says, and Connor, you know, the backstory helps the GM develop the games and the quests.
Right. And then your characters themselves like personal stake in, you know, saving the princess. As opposed to like, well, okay, just another princess to save.
Yeah.
I really don't know how to bend the arm backwards. I'm gonna have to get my wife to do a pose. Maybe she can do this to me and that. Oh. Hey, Shoe Thief.
Yeah, Shoe Thief. I am not against a railroad, except the DM has to have created a game that's so fun that you don't feel restricted. But see, the problem is there, or the challenge of a railroad game is, if you've got people who want to do sandbox and they just want to be free to make their own decisions and create their own narrative, then it can kind of ruin the game that the DM has already created for you. So, don't have the answers. It's a challenge, that's for sure.
Erased a whole part of the hair up there.
Yeah, that upper left, that looks like a swipe.
Yeah. I think
was that on purpose? Yeah.
Nope. Man, the shading on that, it's coming out great.
Oh yeah, are you looking at mine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm changing my.
The line work and the shading is really increased quality.
Yeah.
Last 10 pieces.
Yeah, I always want to. I keep trying. I want to do a lot more rendering than I have been in ink. I want to do a lot more rendering than I have been. So I try to push it a little bit more with each drawing. This one has a little bit more. And these renderings, honestly, a lot of it is just extra lines. They don't serve that much of a purpose. Like, they're not really strong contour hatch marks. Although in some places they're looking like they're getting there. So that's my challenge, is to make the inking look more complete instead of relying on the colors. So working on it.
More lines? Who's gonna do that? Definitely take a look at Frank Cho's Girls. You'll see all the lines you need.
I know.
There's every single contour.
I know, right? I mean, I see some artists do. Well, I think Frank is awesome on women, and he doesn't put a whole lot of extra lines because he just knows the shape so well.
Well, have you seen any of his recent rendering work that he's been doing for the Kickstarters? Because that's very, very rich.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about that book he just put out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. The ballpoint pen contour shading or contour hatching. Yeah, that blew me away. Yeah, I would like to have a little bit of that skill. Not there yet.
And wouldn't we all?
Yeah. There's a couple guys I follow on Instagram that are doing inking, and it's just so amazing just to see their stuff. So anyway, thank you for the compliments. I keep trying to push it and get better, so I'm glad folks are seeing improvements. So that's yay.
It's been a mess.
And Zero, back to knowing that you're new to D&D, I would totally recommend doing a pre-written campaign to start. And then once you've done a couple campaigns, then you guys can decide if you want to continue with that or expand and go on your own. And a lot of people go on their own because they want to do world building, and it's the perfect way to start their world building. But you guys will do whatever is most fun for you, and it's going to be fun no matter what path you take. Guarantee it. So Jay Axer was putting way too many lines on Sonic Comics, and it was a problem for the inking team. So I wonder though, Sonic Comics to me sounds like a very solid, clean, black line, black outline type of style that they wanted. And perhaps Jay Axer was doing more of a comic book rendering type style. I don't know his work at all, so I can only guess. But I think sometimes you don't want an over-rendered style. You want to be nice and clean. But in my heart, I want a more illustrative style, so it won't be nice and clean. Hopefully I can get a lot more of the tonal variance in the black and white before I ever add color. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it does.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think you need to either decide where you want your legwork to come from when it comes to some things like this. So you either want color to do a lot of legwork, or you want line work to do a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, I think when I say when I first started, I'm talking about the beginning of the year and first start Twitch. I definitely want, and my goals might change, but my goal has always been I wanted art to have the black and white line art, but still have a painterly feel to it. So as much as I love comic books, I didn't want to do a comic book style, right? And it'll take me years and years and years to have a good painterly style. So then I was thinking, well, maybe I can sort of cheat that time a little bit, have the line art, and then over time work on my painterly skills to get something painterly. And that's still my goal, but so far my colors, have been really simple. A lot of solid colors and not so much painted shades and multi-hues and anything like that.
It took me a long time to sort of figure out. I mean, to whatever degree I have figured it out, it's actually like much easier than it sounds like it is, or what it looks like it is. And digital allows for a lot of flexibility, so you can sort of really go back and forth, then have just a very simple transition.
I think you might be cutting out a little bit. It's kind of tough to hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. You know what? I think I'm getting tired, so I'm gonna hit bed.
Oh, it's super late for you.
Yeah. 2/4. Yeah. Thank you very much for hanging out, Rob.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to us jibber jabber. Hey, Connor, before you go to bed, can I show you one image?
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm going to pop it up.
Let me just say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for hanging out tonight. Very much appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Raiding here in a minute. I'll be back on later tomorrow during the day. Because I'll be finally back with my daughter in daycare. Cool. Look forward to it then. Take care, everyone. Thanks. Thanks for Red.
Rated by Connor Hughes. What a surprise.
Very surprising, Hey. Like fun surprise. Yeah, that's
so, and it's not mine. So, but it explains my story. I'm going to show you as soon as my little raid GIF goes away. I'll show you. Mm-hmm. Hey, folks. Welcome to my channel. It should stop soon. It's only supposed to go 30 seconds. Okay, so this artwork, Rossum Getty, perhaps. I can't quite read his name, but it was something that I saw online, and I'm like, wow, that looks really cool. I like that monster. And then on top of it, I did a little bit of inking, like that, right? So I pumped up the lines with the ink lines, and I'm like, oh, that is cool. And then I pushed it more and I did that. I'm like, okay, maybe too much, but still looking cool. So that kind of explains where I'm trying to get at, because his artwork is very painterly. It's kind of reinforced by the line art. And I just really like that style. So I think this is a little bit more attractive now than the heavier ink. So that's what.
I mean, I think it's a great way to learn how to learn what you want to do. Take someone else's work that you've got an eye for, and then modify it the way that you see fit. Great idea. I mean, I always think of the heavy line weight with rendering. I always think of that as a Muka style.
Mm-hmm.
That's like where I first sort of. So you might also want to look at that.
Muka?
Yeah, Muka. You know him? Alphonse Muka. He's very, 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 very popular. He's a Czech artist from the turn of the century, I guess. famous for very feminine images. So if you're looking for lots of great looking girls in a kind of a classical style, it's great.
I'll take a look.
I mean, it's very different though than what you're talking about. You know, you're talking about monsters and D&D characters. I'm talking about Alphonse Mucha is poster artist from that would make like tobacco ads.
Okay.
But the point is that, like, yeah, the thick line weights, you know, with the very, very painterly approach is, I think, starts there, like classic.
Yeah, I'll definitely take a look then.
Yeah, and what I like about this is, you know, that are you going to start throwing in more of those kind of like secondary lights? Because I think what really sinks the piece here on the screen is that cool light that comes in.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've done it on a couple of images, but not too many. So like the Drider, no, actually not even the Drider. Maybe one or two images I did more of a backlight, but I admit I haven't done it very much. So probably I need to pump that up, force it to happen.
One advantage of the lighter line weights with the secondary lights is that it makes more sense when you have the heavy blacks. Then a secondary light source makes a lot less because light is bouncing up into your secondary light from your secondary
Yeah,
light.
absolutely. It starts fighting each other. It's two styles that aren't compatible, right? So.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I might be going down a path. I mean, maybe the reason why no one is going down this path is because it's not a good path to go down. But I'm going to try it a little bit anyway. If nothing else, I like. I actually, as I remember this image that's on the screen now doesn't have any hatching at all. You know, except for maybe just right there in the arm. And that was originally what I was going to do, but then as I've been drawing, I realized, no, I kind of really want to do some contour hatching and stuff. So even from this point, I keep changing my mind. So
yeah, I mean, it's a great solution to a lot of drawing problems that you encounter, right? So, like, I have the same thing where I sort of set out and I did white ash, and I sort of said, well, I don't want to do any hatching for this. I think it's too messy. I didn't want to like really. I wanted to bring sort of a classic style, but I don't say classic like cross hatching. I'm talking about something else anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, but then there are things that cross hatching accomplishes that you literally need as a black and white, you know, artist. You literally need some of those things. So you got to figure out solutions on your own for what you want to do instead.
Yep.
In your case, if you're gonna have painting, you're gonna have color. That's gonna solve a lot of the problem. You know, you with this kind of thing, you could have literally just contour line and then let the painting do everything. You know, you could do that. You could also consider, you know, you could also consider doing locking your transparency on your line art layer, and then also transforming some of the lines into being colors, but still, you know, line art, right?
Yeah, I did that for the very first time on the Drider image. So some of the line art that's in the pool, I made it a green instead of a black.
Yep.
Yeah, and that helps too.
Yep. You're going to create a lot more softer edges.
So anyway, that's sort of like my origin of. Before I started twitching, I said, this is where I want to be. So I always look at this image and, you know, my goals aren't quite exact anymore, but I still look at this image to remind myself where I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, it's good to have goals. Like I've basically sort of 3 artists that I look at where I'm sort of like always negotiating between 3 or 4 or 5 artists.
Mm-hmm.
As an example, trying to say, okay, well, this person solved this thing this way, and oh, this person solved this thing in a different way. Then you keep if you vary your sources, I think you can keep, you know, I guess varied. Oh yeah, you had a secondary light source in the Drider. Because I think the purple there in the front, that's another light source. Like, because that purple that she's being lit with is not coming from It's like more coming from the viewer than it is coming from the screen.
Yeah, so this is the thing I do that is fun, but it probably fights. So if I show you the gray layer and I turn off all the lighting, right? So this gray layer is just sort of to give dimensionality to all of the objects, but is not meant to be a light source. And I know fully well it's going to conflict with light sources. So then if I start adding some backgrounds and some light sources, you know, maybe they fight, maybe they don't, but I don't know if it's interesting or not. I was talking about this earlier today. So I've got two different shading methods that are competing for attention, and I'm still trying to decide if that's good or not.
That technique there is sort of more of like a grisaille type technique, right? You're rendering in your forms with grisaille, and then you're going lighting after. I mean, people do it. People do it all. That's classic French technique.
And I think the one thing that I'm probably doing wrong, right? So if I go back to the gray forms, for the most part, whatever's closer to the camera will be lighter, and as it recedes from the camera, it's going to get darker. So in my mind, it's sort of like a Fresnel shader, you know, that as it curves around, it changes. And again, it's not based on any lighting, right? I think what you're saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, is that they do the grays, but the grays convey all of the lighting information, which happens to show all the forms, because if you do proper lighting, you'll see proper forms. Whereas nowadays I can do this gray layer, but then I'll go ahead and do a completely different shadow, and highlight layer that may fight it or may work with it. I don't know. Like when you look at this one here, because this one has the forms and all of the lighting, do you think it works okay, or do you think they're fighting each other?
I mean, I see it as two different light sources.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would say that's how I would interpret it. You could interpret it like that. That okay, you've got one light source from below, and then we are a adventurer with a torch, and that light source casting on her, where she's being lit from us.
That's pretty interesting. I didn't think of it that way, but I think I'll think of it that way going forward, that it's, maybe it is a light source per se. Maybe not an official light, but I think of it as a light source from the viewer's point of view.
Yeah. You could make an argument that, like, sort of, as a form gets closer, it can be easier to make out subtle value changes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because those forms are closer to her, closer to us as a viewer, then we can see those forms a little bit better than otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be a reason.
All right, cool, man.
I gotta run because I gotta go to the bathroom.
Dude, thanks a lot. I appreciate your feedback. Have a great night. Thanks for sticking it out.
Keep up the good work, man.
Good night, Connor.
All right, good night.
All right, let me disconnect from his channel. So everyone, I hope you're okay with that. Obviously, we're geeking out and talking about the artwork, and I'm always excited to hear Connor's feedback because he's such a good artist that I'm all ears. I'm all ears when he's offers some feedback on my stuff. So, but yeah, you got a good peek at the thinking about why I do what I do and the goals that I have and how I got here. So, yeah, Connor's a good guy. I met him for the first time here in Twitch, and glad I met him. quick experiment. What if going back to the Drider, and I'm going to turn off a couple layers, because if I turned off, or if I added a layer on top, that would nullify the forms. All right, let's do that. So we do a new layer. Oh, great. So this shows my image using lighting only versus forms. So this is the forms, this is the lighting only. Now the lighting only is going to look on the flat side, because since I'm working in layers, it's not really rendered with the idea of being a complete image. I don't know, I still like the forms. Now you better be talking about me, because I hope you're not calling anyone else monotone. I would expect that to be about me. Anyway. That's all I got to say about that. That was my extra long talking. I say that because sometimes I feel like I'm monotone a lot. Thank you, thank you. I actually try to be a genuine guy. Good to hear, my friend. Good to hear. I think D&D and art help a lot of people get stuff off their mind. Helps me too. Now I gotta figure out what my colors are gonna be. Don't like that pea green. Wrong key. Yep, the owl will be fun. They're all fun. Every drawing is fun for its own reasons. Even that Spirit Naga was fun in its own way. Bork? Is Bork bark? Good morning. Shifting to Wolf. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Yep, gotta prep for work. We all gotta do it. Thank you, thank you. Drawing is a journey of 1,000 failures. So you just have to like accept all the failures to get to this point, right? Hope that makes sense. It makes sense when I talk about ice skating. I talk about the journey for an ice skater is a journey of 1,000 falls. Because they literally are falling 1,000 times before they go pro. So maybe it made sense drawing as well. Yeah, 1,000 smudged hands or smudged marks from the hands. Yep, that's art. The journey of 1,000 smudges. That works better. I like it. I'm going to steal that. Hey, anything on my stream is mine to steal with as I will. But don't worry, we have this VOD. Everyone who comes take a look will know you inspired me. Hey, that's cool. So what drawing are you going to be making? Character or monster, or what are you going to be doing? Oh, beholders are a lot of fun. One of my first Twitch things was a beholder. I'll show you a picture of a beholder here in a sec. You think the mind flare is a creepy creature. Wait till you see the beholder. Wait till they get a load of me. Although my beholder is not so creepy. Nowadays, they're very scary. Alright, Mine is sort of old style, so it's not as creepy as the new artists. But that was my beholder. Just like Shifting Wolf said, floating eyeball, lots of eyeball stalks, and lots of teeth. That's a beholder. Well, that's my version of beholder. It pulls a little bit from the original style with the armored skeletal exterior. The new beholder's a lot more, I don't know, creepier, amorphous, cooler than shit. So yeah, beholders and mind flayers. My two favorite creatures. Key, light, blur, no shadows. Find the Overseer beholder rather creepy. So yeah, do a segue. You know, I'm going to be pitching my cards here indirectly, but you guys tell me your opinion. And, you know, you guys are graceful. I know your opinion's good, but tell me your real opinion on, you know, if you're playing a D&D game and your dungeon master throws down this card of this beholder right there and says, this is the creature you see in front of you. Will that enhance your D&D game? Will it scare you a little bit more? Does it give you that oh shit moment? What are we doing? Because that's what I'm hoping these cards will do. The DMD will play, slap this down, say this is what you see. You know, if it's a mind flare, slap this card in front of them, although this one's not going to be one of the cards, but slap this card in front of them, say this is the creature that you see summoning this energy. So that's my goal, to have all of these D&D cards so that the dungeon master could say, hey, by the way, slap it down and say, this is what you're fighting. Yeah, right? I mean, I love the Monster Manual book, but I just love the idea of having these cards, a deck of cards, man, and just say, this is what you're fighting. And the stats will be on the back of the card, so the dungeon master could actually show them the creature, and then he could use the card, he or she could use the card, you know, for the stats. Or maybe the deck comes with two of the same, one for the dungeon master, one for the players. I don't know. But yeah, basically the players get the visual and the dungeon master gets the stats. Yes, I hope so. Yes, I hope it makes the game more fun. Since I don't see, you know, all that many people using figures quite as much as they used to. Maybe they are, I just don't know. I was never into figures. Seeing the figures would be awesome too, but a little bit more expensive. But having cards might be pretty cool. Let me know if you get notified when they get printed. Yeah, I'm going to do a Kickstarter for the cards. So the card idea is my own idea. Is my own self-published idea that I'm going to do through Kickstarter. But there still will be cards for the solo player game that I'm doing with the other guy. Basically, he saw my idea and says, yeah, can I use that for this card? This game that he's making. I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. Yeah, and I might have enough for a starter deck. I don't know. I haven't decided. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I have 20. But I don't want to release anything yet because I kind of want to have enough for a deck of low-level monsters to start. And I don't know, if it's mixed up, you could be playing for weeks or months and never use a card. I'm just going back to the brilliant idea. I like that. I'm going to quote that. Brilliant idea. So that's why you were thinking of drawing stuff for your friend if he likes the Beholder. Hey, thank you for that follow, Shifting Wolf. Thank you, thank you. Welcome aboard. I'm glad you're here. Thinking of making big drawings for areas and then smaller ones for creatures and such. Yeah, same kind of deal, right? Anything that visually enhances the game that you're playing, I think is going to be fun. Yeah, let your friend know. Show him my stream and see if he's interested. And if he is, spread the word. Because I will... Well, basically, if people come to me and like, hey, dude, get on it. We like the idea. We would buy some decks. I would try to do this a little more often. Well, this Mind Flare is starting to look cool. Yeah. Do-do-do-do. Yeah, you know, got to be a little careful. I'm excited about the Kickstarter, no doubt, but I got to make sure I've got an interesting package. I want to make sure it's a quality product, all that good stuff. I got some graphic design work I got to do, some design for the deck and the deck packaging and everything. And I don't know. I mean, Beholder, Bronze Dragon, Death Dog, Deep Gnome. Here, I'll just let you read it. So those are what I have. You know, no one's going to play a demon. They're probably not going to play dragons yet. They might do Death Dogs. Probably won't do Driders. They might meet a Halfling. So, you know, if I were to produce a pack today, there's not too many encounters here that level 1 characters would be able to do. Hey, Draken, welcome back. Yeah, I don't know. Oh. I've been thinking about Patreon, but I don't know what to offer that I would have time to offer. Hey, Beetlejuice is here too. Hello. Yeah, so I'm working on this Mind Flare. I was just saying he comes along pretty... There goes that yawn. Yeah, I know. I'm getting a little tired. Yeah, it's not horrible. 12:24. I stream all the time at 12:24. But I've been working a lot of closing shifts this week, so my sleep schedule's kind of screwed up. But let's get back to work. There's the red that I want. Key light. Beetlejuice, put a link of your piece in. You can do it in Discord or you can do it right here in chat. I'd like to see what you finished. Let's see what you got. Putting it on stream. I hope you're ready. Dun dun dun. Dude, that's freaking awesome. That is like not my style, but what a freaking image. Let me get the window screened up here, or resized right. That should be okay. That's a freaking cool ass image. I think that's all on my screen, right? Did I freeze up? Oh, I'm sharing window. Hold on, I gotta change this. Let's do, wait, this'll show it. Okay, here it is. I forgot I changed my window setup. So it should be more like this. Look at that. Yeah, I dig that image. That's pretty bitchin'. You guys can still see it, right? Yeah, there we go. Wow. Yeah, fantastic. Good job. Did you do this for fun or commission or? Yeah, I think that commissioner is going to be very happy with that one. Yeah, good job, good job. You're making animal portraits? You know, I should hook you up with a guy I just met last week who does a lot of dog portraits. And that's not you. Okay, I don't think it's you. I think he had a different name. Post a link. Let's take a look. This time I'll switch to gameplay first and then open it up, pull it out. That's great. Look at that. I like the vegetable framing and everything. This style of image slightly reminds me of a guy on Twitch, Bodhi. So you might like watching Bodhi as well, because he does this sort of broken line, same line weight type deal. Yeah, this is cool. I do have a Discord. Zero, you know what to do. Good reaction time, Zero. Great job. Now, if only I could get shout outs to work. I haven't looked into that yet. Yeah, that was so fast. I don't even have to say anything. Next time someone asks for Discord, Zero just pop it right off. Oh, you mean this link? Do. So yeah, That's what it's like to have a moderator who's working for his money. And then I can just keep drawing. Dun, 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 dun. Tune 1 hit point. Howdy, howdy. Let me zoom out so you can see the whole thing. That's what I've got so far. Working on some of the lighting, you know. I'm just reading Shifting Wolf's reply. Oh, I missed Beetlejuice saying something. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm assuming you checked, was that before? Oh, Bodhi's Instagram? Yeah, so similar, right? So you guys vaguely have a similar style, but I thought you might find it interesting. He's on Twitch too. You have this, say no more. Yeah. Wow, it's a great friend paying double what you asked. I'm sure she paid you the fair amount, and you being a good friend asked for half that amount. Zero, you got a commission to be doing? What are you doing wasting your time with me then? You should be working on your commission. That's all right. We know there's no wasting time here. You should at least be drawing while we're drawing, though. Yes, sirree. All right. Overlay, got the red, got the ink. So tracking, when you've been streaming art, you've been opening up another viewer of the piece I'm working on. Then I have OBS capture that image so the viewer always has a view of the entire piece, not just the part you're working on. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. I think I haven't done that because I'm limited on my space. And I don't remember, can Clip Studio Paint do a floating window? That might be the other challenge, is that I couldn't do a floating window. Maybe I can. Because that's a good point, because if I float I'll have to experiment with that. If I do float a window, I could set that on a different, let me show you what I'm going to babble about. Okay, so the Mac, here's one screen where it's pretty damn full, but if I put the floating window on a screen like this, you know, and I would actually hide this, and then I might be able to get away with that. I wonder if I could do that. I wonder. I'm gonna have to think about it. So yeah, I might change it up. But I think my only problem is sometimes if the image is full screen, it might be big enough. I think it would be big enough. Big enough to see the details. Like if I had a past image like the Mimic up. Then that's how big it would be if it was full screen, and it would be slightly bigger, of course, because I've got some dead space on the top and the bottom. I actually did that a little bit more often when the very first streaming that I did, but then one person said that it was too small on mobile phones, so I switched it. Let's see, we talked about that. You put a pic in my Discord. Let's go take a look. Discord art channel. Oh, that's so cute. Let's put that up there. So put that there and shift to this. Look at that monster. Isn't that monster adorable? I love it. Yours going to bed soon? Yeah, me too. Your skill is like a toddler? Well, we all had to learn to walk first. Only so much on-screen real estate. Not sure if Clip Studio Paint can do it, but Photoshop can. You don't need that chat on screen all the time either, unless you're putting the video up on YouTube or someplace where you want to make sure people can see what chat you're saying. I have considered taking off the chat from the screen, so from here. Yeah, I don't know if this is, don't know if that's good or not to have that, because I could increase the size of the art. Do you guys use the chat on screen at all, or do you use the chat that's in the Twitch, like the Twitch chat only? The VOD's replaying the chat window anyway, yeah. A lot of streamers show the chat in the stream, but I think they're probably like me. It's like, yeah, we've got an extension to do it, so might as well do it. But if we didn't do it on stream, I think it's because for like mobile, right? So mobile, you wouldn't be able to see the chat, because the chat's going to be down below the art. So I don't know. Do you guys, are you on computers or mobile? Yeah, so shifting to Wolf, the dog image is fantastic. So I'm glad you showed that. Thank you. Do people like to see chat in the stream itself? Yeah. You doing your streams. You could overlay that chat. I actually don't like that. I don't like when the chat is overlaid on the images. So I would be all or nothing. Either the chat stays on a blank area so it's easier to read, or I take it off completely. The only time I ever use on-screen chat is if I think the streamer can't see the chat. Yep. But I always have the chat window open. Just make it hidden. Because I could hide it right now, right? And then make the art bigger. So, and the other thing is, when I was doing speed videos, the chat and my own image was like totally distracting. So that's another reason why I changed my setup, so that I could crop the image only, and then that would be my speed videos. So, but I've been too lazy to do that. On PC, laptop, PC at the moment. Shifting to Wolf. Here's the secret. Your art will never be good enough for you, because you're always going to want to do better. And one of the things to learn is that you know you want to be better, but other people rate you on what you've presented, not on what you could be. You know, they rate your art on what it is, not what it could be. So today, everyone enjoys your art. Tomorrow, they're still going to enjoy your art. That's just how it works. PC. Hello, Cap. You're still Capnado. Still working on that name change, I see. Good stream tonight. Yeah, you can change your username every 60 days. My uptime is 2 hours 46 minutes. Just for the drawing stream. And then it was 4 hours for the game stream. So yeah, you can change your name if it's not already taken, of course, and but then you're stuck with it for 60 days if you ever want to go back. So last week I was Planet Chaos Art, and literally 3 or 4 days ago I changed it to Rob Shepard, and now I'm Rob Shepard on all of my social media, and I bought the domain. I'm going to do a new website. Just makes it easier for everyone, I think, and more appropriate for my name. And I love how S-H-E-P, I love how I put the H and the E together, so it's kind of logo-ish. So, doing good, Cap. I'm doing good. How are you doing? Yes, I actually paid $15 so that I could change my name on DeviantArt, and then I'm not going to renew it. But yeah, I was kind of bummed at that, but it was important for me to change the name, so I'm like, all right, $15, and who knows, maybe I'll like the extra benefits of being a core user on DeviantArt, so I'll give it a chance. But at least I didn't have to pay for all the other social platforms. Not all my links are updated yet, but most of them are. My contact is still through Planet Chaos. I don't plan on doing any emails through Rob Shepard anytime soon. You spent $5 to change your DA name. I had to spend 15. Yeah, 15 per month or something like that. I had to spend $15 to change mine. Do command DeviantArt, see what comes up. Just like you do command Instagram. I'll get that link then here in a sec. Shifting Dwarf. But at least you were here as long as you were. So I appreciate your being here. Oh yeah, don't be late on work. Have a great day. I'm very much unpredictable in when I can stream because of my working and all that kind of stuff. But keep an eye open for me. I'm looking at my schedule right now. I will not be streaming tomorrow night. I probably will be streaming Thursday night. So I think Thursday night is the next best bet for me to stream. Yep. See you next time. Newgrounds, I'll take a look at. I used to draw all the time till everyone said I couldn't draw it that well and I would get in trouble in classes, so I stopped drawing like 13 years, and every time I do draw now, I hate it. Never show anyone either. People can be harsh. It's true. Wait, let me get this. All right. But you got to start ignoring people. You know, do your art for you. I mean, it's literally the one thing that you should be doing for yourself first. And practice with intent so that you get better. And after a while, people will shut the fuck up and they'll start appreciating your art instead of trying to critique you. So if people critique you too hard, you just kind of ignore them. You just got to move on. Find like-minded people like here on Twitch, and you'll find the support you need. There's a lot of good people here and a lot of people that love supporting artists. So you're in a good spot now. I don't want to preach. I want to encourage. I want people to know that, see, I'm 53, so I'm going to be 54 soon, and I just don't want people to waste their life not drawing if they really should be drawing. If drawing is your passion, or if it's music, or if it's race driving, you know, basically my lesson I hope I convey is if you know what you really love, you got to do it. And you got to ignore the people that say no, because they're either jealous or they're unskilled or they're just mean or whatever. You just got to ignore those people and do it anyway. And just love what you do. And understand it's going to be a long journey. Because being good at anything takes years. Being good at art takes a lot of years. But it's not impossible. You can do it. Zero's getting all pumped up. Yeah, I agree that most people don't understand how hard it is to draw or write, or any creative. It takes practice. And practice is work. So the nice thing about the internet is, and it's true even without the internet, but if you draw, and your purpose or your goal is to get better, at some point, your audience is going to find you. And it's not that easy, of course, but it's still kind of true. If you draw it, they will come, will happen once you get to a certain skill level of drawing. Or you have a certain idea, whether it's a cartoon or critter style or whatever it is. What do I want the blender. Yeah, drawing has to be treated like an extra job. You have to commit to it like a job. And not so severely, but you know, you may say, okay, I'm going to draw 3 times a week. Then commit to it. Draw 3 times a week. And always practice with intent. That's the one thing that I will say a million times till you get tired. Practice with intent. Because you can practice with no goal, you'll never get anywhere. Practice with intent, you'll get better each time you practice. There's a saying I heard, and I did not make it up, but it's similar to, you know, being perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect artists. So it's kind of another way of saying practice with intent. If you practice to do whatever you're doing perfectly every time, then you'll start to develop that skills. Like, I could draw and sketch, and if I think this is cool, you know, if I'm drawing, oh, I can't even see it. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to show it, just babbling now. Because it is getting kind of late. Whoops. Okay, back when I worked retail, anytime I wasn't busy at the register, I doodled. Hands, faces, action poses, nothing serious. But I made sure that I was drawing every day. Yep. No such thing as perfect in art. That's correct. I agree. 3 a.m. You're heading to sleep. Okie doke. Had fun chatting and hanging out. As always, glad you're here. Good night, Zero. Yeah, I like that core light. That's pretty cool. All right, I'm actually going to call it a night for myself as well. Let me prep something here first. I hate to go when there's 11 people watching. Do you guys have any suggestions on who you want rated? Or I'll take a look at if there's anyone I follow that's online right now. Oh. You want to see another dog and cat painting artist? This is the fellow I was talking about. Let's see if he's... Yeah, he is painting. He is painting. So, un momento, por favor. I'll get all queued up. So everyone, thank you for spending your time hanging out with me and watching me draw. I appreciate it because your time is valuable. Like I said, I'll be streaming Thursday night, so I hope to see you guys then. I hope to start by 11, maybe sometimes 10, depends when my wife goes to sleep. But I'll try to do an early stream like I did tonight. All right, we're gonna go raid Freakmaster 1. Freakmeister. Freakmeister. Here we go. He's painting dogs. That's his thing, but he's really good at it. So I'm hitting the raid. What? Not gonna work? Oh, there we go. Oh, we're already raiding him, I guess. I don't know if it's working. God, this raid, like, sucks. It's so iffy. Click a live channel to raid or host. I'm going to close it out. We're going to try it again. Well, let's host him instead. Unable to host. Well, I don't know why it's not working. Copy link. So go check out this guy's channel. He's the one I recommend. Freakmeister 1. If you want to see someone draw some dogs and stuff, he does some cool stuff. I don't know why my raid didn't work. Oh, now it's raiding. What a lag. You got raid with 2 people all at the same time.
You see, Kimmy, I'd be here either way. We're good. That was spooky. Insert dog pile. Oh. How's it going? How's your stream? What were you working on? Formerly Planet K. That's what I thought. Because the because the profile picture is the same, right? Having all kind of glitches with the raid. Okay. How do you raid twice? I was so confused right there. What? That does not count.